Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see here on our channel, our website, or our social media. Reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. Today we are discussing an exceptionally rare 75-piece limited edition from Bremont of London. This is the H-4-HERCULES, a limited series watch, part of a trio of special pieces that honor the Hughes H-4 flying boat. The gigantic, primarily birch flying boat was built as a war appropriations product during World War II, didn't fly until November of 1947, and for years held all kinds of records relating to size. This is a watch that pays tribute to the innovation behind that aircraft, but also the determination of Howard Hughes himself to make it happen. So the watch is 43 millimeters in red gold by 51 millimeters lug-to-lug by 14.3 millimeters thick with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. The watch is hefty and substantial, but I have to say the warmth of the red gold endears it to me. It's a combination of that lovely brown bronze sunburst dial with the red gold of the case. Now you can see my 16 centimeter circumference wrist wears this one easily. Even though it is a large watch, this particular modular case style of Bremont tends to wear smaller than rated size because they separate the lugs from the canister that holds the dial and the movement, so the ergonomics are excellent. You'll also appreciate that the hardware and the software is up to snuff. The strap is very thick, sheer cut, aviation style. It's a minimally treated calfskin with a contrasting binding, lots of leather in between, and you'll note it is a brand new Bremont factory strap. The buckle, like the watch, is red, not pink, not rose, red gold. And there's an elevated bridge over the two prongs, which means that the strap itself sits inside the clip rather than stacking up underneath it. It's a small but important detail. Now you can see the flanks of the case are DLC coated for scratch resistance and also color contrast. There's a typical Bremont sharply knurled and inlaid propeller-style logo crown. You can see the lines of the case are fairly fluid and surprisingly nuanced. There's a lot of complex curvature going on here, as well as compound curvature. The bezel itself features a little bit of a domed profile after the lip flattens out at the edge of the case. And then the dial is where this watch really comes alive. It is a GMT with 2 time zones, one of which is in 24-hour format outboard, one of which is the center local time zone. There is a small recessed sub-seconds dial mentioning the H-4-HERCULES, better known as the Spruce Goose. And you can see there is an azurage concentric circular guilloche in there with all applique rose gold Arabic numerals, syringe style, vintage inspired hour and minute hand, and we're going to activate some of the special functions of the BWC2 movement here. But there is a quick set for the date, and then if you turn in the opposite direction, there is an adjuster for the second time zone. This is in contrast to many GMT watches that force you to spin the local hour hand to cycle through the date. Here there is a dedicated quick set. Now the watch is remarkably water resistant for what is principally an aviation themed timepiece, 100 meters, all of that protecting the Bremont exclusive caliber BWC2. Now this is created in conjunction with Swiss manufacturer of movements La Joux-Perret, a collaborative effort. Like the rest of the watch, all of this comes together in London, so it is a British watch. Swiss precision and British style with final assembly in Bremont's own facilities. Now I should also mention that it's relatively long-legged with a power reserve that is rated as a minimum of 50 hours. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, and as you can see, it is nicely built, pivoting on 25 joules and sized properly for a large case. Bremont watches tend to be large, so that is a particular competence that they are sizing the movements for the case. This is not what you do when you're just sticking a customer caliber into a case. Typically, that would mean a mismatch. So to have one keyed to the other is a sign of how far Bremont is coming as a brand. Now there is birch from the original Spruce Goose, ironically, birch inlaid in the rotor itself, which you can see is a propeller with the nickname of the aircraft more or less relieved into the rotor. Now, Howard Hughes did not like the name Spruce Goose. He thought it was derisive, so it appears only on the back of the watch with the proper name of the aircraft on the dial side. We'll take a quick look at the movement. You can see it's mostly open with linear Cote de Genève nicely laid down, the nickel anthracite providing a handsome contrast to the other elements. There are quite a few colors inside this caseback, making it a dynamic and visually engaging sight well worth the sapphire display. Again, 75 pieces made, so you're never going to see another one. From a small British brand. And let's face it, British watchmaking is still a very small club. If you want something built without compromise that has a heck of a lot of style and pays more than a passing nod of deference to great moments in aviation, this is a heck of a way to go. Somewhere between a sports watch and a dress watch, I think it's a great example of either. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. And we're back with the Bremont H-4 Hercules. You can see that second time zone is fully loomed.